That is a stunning piece of wood. I would have never thought in a million years that that would have ended up coming out. Don't even see it very well because it's so shiny, the light's reflecting off of it. But I took that back. So this is the project. I'm calling it my prehistoric bowl, as you can see from the title. The reason being is because it's old, chunky and rough around the edges, just like me. So, sticky and horrible. So yes, so yeah, nothing else to say really. It's failed. No good. So I'll see you guys next week. Fresh new project, one that works. And take care. Speak to you soon, and bye for now. Hello, welcome everybody. Hope everybody's well. Thank you for coming back and joining us for another Sunday lunchtime live after a hectic Friday night. Absolutely awesome Friday night. I just want to thank each and every one of you guys who came over on Friday night to support us, and a massive thank you to everybody who bid on the auction pieces, who bought raffle tickets. It was a hectic night, but a very enjoyable night. And Nick's going to give you the total that we've made so far on the GoFundMe. So away to you, Nick.
So far we've got £3,554.
Amazing, absolutely amazing. So everybody who bid on auction pieces is already paid. So the only thing we've got left to go in the auction or the GoFundMe is Nick's school had a collection and they raised £31.
That's including that.
Oh, that's including that.
Yeah.
So, oh, sorry, that's including that. But the only other thing we've got to go on top of that is the Makers t-shirts, which will be on sale until the end of the year. So if you'd like to grab yourself a Makers t-shirt, still time to go over and grab a Makers t-shirt. The link is in the description of this video, and it should be in the description of all my other videos as well. If I get chance later, I will, well, actually I'll promote them on the Makers Auction webpage or Facebook page, just to try and create a little bit more if we can. So the GoFundMe is going to stay open until end of the year, so people can still make donations if you want to, and we'll just announce it now and then, and as it increases then we'll just keep you informed. But again, a massive thank you to all the donators, all the people who have bought tickets, all the people who have bid on auction pieces and bought auction pieces, all the makers who have donated, basically to everybody who's been involved in the Makers 2022 auction. A massive thank you very much. And it just proves what a great community we're part of, as we all pull together, and we've raised £3,500 for a well-worthy cause of Dementia UK. So a massive thank you. So other than that,
and whatever you say, a big thank you to you, because you know, without you thinking about doing this, this wouldn't have been possible. Shut up. This wouldn't have been possible. So, you know, at the end of the day, you are the backbone behind it all, whatever you think and whatever you say. Okay. So big thank you to you, and I think Dementia UK will really appreciate the funds.
Well, as long as they appreciate them, that's what matters. Right. 6. There's a lot of new turners coming onto the circuit, coming into the chats, and obviously we have to start somewhere. So I thought it'd be great to do a few lives. I'm not saying we're going to do continuous lives, but a live every now and again on basic techniques. So obviously the most important things you need when you start turning are a lathe, obviously. some decent tools. People say about buying cheap tools. You're better off buying good quality second-hand tools than you are buying cheap tools, because cheap tools don't hold the edge very well. And then a sharpening system. Several different sharpening systems out there. Toolmech, Pro Edge. Axme is to do a system very similar to the Pro Edge. There's a massive Toolmech fan group, Pro Edge fan group, and it's an ongoing discussions ever since before I was into the woodturning world. People like the Toolmech, people love the Pro Edge, but it's down to the individual what you have. Whatever you're looking at buying, you're looking at spending 300 or 400 quid on a sharpening system. But all I will say to you is, buy a good sharpening system, then you will never look back. It's great having nice sharp tools. The benefits of having sharp tools are that if you get an issue, it's not the tool, it's you. And it's hard work cutting with a blunt tool. If you've got a blunt tool, you're going to find it very hard to cut. You get lots of tear out. You could cause other issues. So sharp tools is a must. So once you've got those, it's obviously basic skills to present the tool, where you stand, how to do different cuts, things like that. So that's what we're going to go through today, basic cutting skills, and we're going to turn just a basic bowl just to show you how the skills. I've got a camera set up here, so hopefully I can show you some close-up push cuts and some shear scrape cuts, and hopefully get you a little bit more, so you get a little bit more depth of information on that. But if there's any questions and you're a new turner, you want some information, there's plenty of experience in the chat. If I can't answer it, somebody in the chat most probably can. No question is a stupid question. We're all here to help each other, and it's all about.
Why is your t-shirt got a knot on it? Your logo got a knot on it.
Yeah, well, that's Baz. So we're all here to help each other. We all started somewhere. I was in exactly the same position three and a half, 4 years ago, and believe me, you need that information, because having a little bit of information is a massive a game changer. So once you've got the basics, it's just practice, practice, practice. So I'll go to the lathe, get ready to start doing what I've got to do, and Nick will welcome you all in.
So, good afternoon, everybody, on this cold, well, it's not so cold, but it's wet, really wet. It's going to rain all day here today. So, right, so good afternoon to Woodwizardry by Colin, Brian at Hartwood, Jim Matthew. So we got Woodturning by Barry, David J. Heath, the Guildford Carpenter, Rex B, Klingspor Abrasives.
Hi, Rob. Why are my glasses always so dirty?
Colin Izzard. We also do that. We also have Terry Bartlett. Sorry, I've got to go back to the top. The mouse has just jumped. Chris Dodds. Welcome to Christina Michael Hesseltine, Roy's the Boy, Glenn Teagle of UK Woodcraft and Carbide Chisels. Not heard of him before.
Welcome.
Copper Owl Woodturning, Paul Huyton, the Greasby Turner, Leroy 500, Fred Gilliver, Matthew Lawrence, William Kenny, Robert Broughtwood, Wyvie Woodshed, Brian with a Y, the Spanish one. Len's handcrafted wood signs. Ooh. Wet in Yorkshire as well, is it woodwork?
I think that's the whole country, isn't it? Today. Fair enough.
Amy's on. Hi, Amy.
Yeah, you could be right there, Tipsy.
What?
I said, why my glasses are? He says, because you have a dirty hobby. Yeah, that's perhaps what.
Graham Brown. Mr. G's Woodturning. Wesley Hanna. We also have Paul Kavanagh. Oh, Terry, TJ, turn right, Terry. Scott, Blue Light Turner's workshop's on.
A lot of people in today.
Yeah, Sid's repurposing.
Oh, Sid, how you doing, bud?
Oh, thanks, Scott. You put a massive well done to Nikki, to you and Nikki for your efforts too.
No problem, mate.
Such a worthy cause. Everyone would learn. Put well done, Nikki, for organising Steve.
Yeah, I need it. I need it, Andy.
Tipsy Turner, Brent Beecroft. Woodwork Learner put well done, Steve. Now back to how we normally treat you.
Yeah. I wouldn't want you to treat me any different anyway.
Benjamin's on.
I bet.
We're getting there, I think.
Lots of people today.
There is a lot of people. Anyway, welcome to everybody. If I've missed you, please just put a comment and say oi, and I'll give you a shout out.
Right, so have a piece of ash here.
Susie Swiss
Woodturner.
Woodturner's on as well.
So I have a piece of ash here. I think it's ash. It's got ash written on it, whether it is ash or not. It's got ash / oak, but we'll see what it looks like when we turn it. Anyway, so I've got a piece here. Sizes. I'm going to be stepping around this tripod all day now. 220mm across by just over 50mm deep. So the first thing I'm going to do is just clean my face up, and then we're going to round it off. So what I want to do is I want my tool rest. So when I've got my tool in, I'm at rough centre height. Yeah, so I'm setting my tool rest. So as you can see there, it's a little bit high. So we're just going to drop our tool rest a little tiny bit. There we go. Like that. So what we want to do is we want our handle low. It's a bit hard to show you on this, really. As we're going in, we want our handle low. So we're going to be using it as a shear cut. So what we're doing is, as the piece of wood comes down, we're going to be bringing the wood over the sharp edge to give us a slicing action. If you go in with a handle parallel, you're using it as a scraping cut. So all you're doing is you're scraping the wood across it, which is not what we want. We want a cutting action. So what we're doing is we're going to turn our lathe on, and then we're going to just gently present our tool like so. Tool rest a little bit high still. So we're just going to bring our tool rest down a little bit more. So we're just going to bring it in, we're going to rub our bevel, and then just gently lift our handle till we find a cut, and then we're going to bring it across. Now that's a shear cut. If we was to go in like that, which our tool rest is too low, so if we raise our tool rest a little bit and go in like that, that's a scrape and cut, which is not what we want. We're not cutting, we're only scraping the wood. We want to be cutting the wood. So we're just going to bring our tool in low, ride it in gently, lift the handle until we find a bite, and then we're just going to gradually bring our tool across to create our cut. So we're just going to keep doing that until we've got a nice smooth blank.
Right, we've got Malcolm Douglas on, and I think I've either missed one of the Barrys. So Woodturning by Barry and Barry's Wood Creations are on as well.
Welcome, guys.
The other thing, Klingspool's got a question. That's Rob, you said, isn't it?
Yeah.
Carbide v normal tools, or do you need both?
Carbides have a place, but I'd personally start wood turning with traditional tools. If you're going to use traditional tools, start off with traditional tools, because I started with carbides, so I used to do a lot of resin work, and I found it very hard to get the swing of using traditional tools because you use them totally different. So if you're going to do woodwork, if you're going to do wood, start off with traditional tools, because I think they're better made for woodwork rather than resin. So that's what I would do anyway. Right, so
just a minute, Dr. Bob's on.
Hi, Dr. Bob.
Oh, he's put, remember, behind every good man is a woman that encourages compliments and is the one securely responsible for his success. That is you. Thank you, Nikki. Oh, thank you.
You're definitely right there. Right, so what I've done now is I set this mobile cam up. So hopefully you can see what I'm going to do here. So as you can see, this has been cut on a chop saw. So we've got flat spots. We want to be getting rid of those. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a push cut. So again, handle low. We're going to bring it in. So we're going to use this part of the tool here to create our cut along our piece. So lathe on again. Bring our tool in. Now you want to be standing when you're doing a push cut. You want to be standing where you're going to finish. So it's going to feel uncomfortable where you start, but when you finish the cut, you should be comfortable. So we're on our we're going to where we're going to be finishing. So we're going to lean over. On my case, on my right. So I've got all my weight on my right foot now. So we're going to start our cut, and as I'm coming across, my weight is going to transfer from my right to my left foot. So when I finish my final cut, there, all my weight is now on my left foot. So I'm transferring the weight across. So it's not actually my hands moving, it's the tool, it's my body moving.
Amy's got a question. What's the actual difference between traditional and carbide?
I will show you in 1 second. I will show you in a minute.
Sorry for the daft question. It's not a daft question.
So like I say, you're not moving your tool, you're not pushing the tool across, you're moving your body weight across. So we'll stop that. Still got a little bit of a flat on it, I think.
Oh, no.
Just let me round this off, Amy, and I will show you. Right, so we've still got a little bit of a flat. So we're going to do exactly the same. So again, standing where I'm going to finish, putting all my weight onto my right foot, starting my cut, moving my body, not my hands. So my right hand is tucked into my hip with my with the gouge. And we're just riding that through there. I'm gradually transferring my weight over onto my left foot. Just like that.
Just like that. Rex,
just like that.
just
like that.
Tell Amy the difference. And then Rex said, doing the initial push cut scraping, is there a standard degree angle for a gouge?
No, you can have whatever you like. Most gouges come 45, 45, which is what I've kept mine at. A lot of people change them. It's down to the individual, depending on whatever angle you're happy with. As long as you keep that handle low, and you're using just that part of the gouge, you've not got problems. When you come up high and you start catching the wing, that's when you start getting catches. That's where the catches exist, on the wings. When you catch these parts of the gouge, that's when you start getting issues. If you can keep those well away from, like when you're doing the shear cut, as long as this wing is away, you're not going to get a catch. It's only when you start introducing the second wing, you get the catches. Right, so difference between traditional and carbide, right. I've got to move this camera now because this camera's right in the way. Let me go back over to that camera. Right, so this is a carbide. It's on our overhead camera now. Yeah. Right, so this is a round carbide. As you can see, it's a bit far away. I'll zoom in a little bit. So that's a round carbide, which you could obviously do that, but again, that's a scrape and cut. It's not a cut and cut. And that's a traditional bowl gouge. So that is really acting the same as a scraper. So if you had a scraper, which is not a negative rate one, but like that, that is basically turn the bowl with one of those. A scraper. That's what that is. That's a scraping action. This is a cutting action. This has not got a sharp edge to cut. A turning tool like this, a bowl gouge, this edge here, and this tip are razor sharp. So they are all cutting edges. You haven't got that on a scraper. There are some cup scrapers now, which Simon Hope use, which are like, if I've got one here somewhere.
Don't forget your coffee, good.
Yep. These are what they call cup carbides, which they've got, I don't know if you can really see that on there, it's not very close, it's quite small. So these are what they call cup carbides, which have got like addition, which actually have got a cutting edge on them. They're not flat like a scraper. So they actually do cut, they don't scrape. But they don't really do that on carbide tools for they're more hollowing tools than actually Woodturning. Well, they are wood turning tools, but they're actually hollowing tools. But my advice is, if you're gonna start wood turning, buy traditional and learn with traditional. If you're going to go into resin, then buy some carbides by all means if that's what you want. But really, you should start turning with traditional tools. I wish I did personally. I would. That really knocked me back about 6 to 10 months, I would imagine, if not more. That took me quite a while to start learning how to not get catches and how to present the tool, how to ride the bevel, the different cuts, and it just takes time. But like I say, down to the individual. So what we're going to do now is we're going to find our centre, and we're going to put a tenon on there. I normally use a mortise, but because we're doing this, I'll do a tenon. Right, so that's my centre. So my centre for my chuck, or shall I say, the chucking point for mine is 52 mil. So we're going to go there. So that's our size of our tenon. So what we're going to do is we're just going to get some rough shape on this bottom of this bowl, and then we can start forming our tenon at the bottom. So we're going to do a lot of shear scraping to create the bottom of this bowl. So again, handle low, and we're just gradually going to start shaping this bowl off. Now we want a nice continuous curve on this. Now I would take a lot more than this off at one time, but because we're trying to teach you guys, or show you guys, should I say, not teach, show, then I'm going to take my time. So we're gradually just taking nice little shear cuts to start creating the shape of our bowl. And again, keep that tool post close to your piece. You don't want a massive gap between your tool and your tool post and your piece.
Doug Miller would spin around on.
Hi Doug, how you doing?
Len said he's hoping to find someone who's close to him who can teach him more. So where are you, Len?
Got to move this camera. It's right on my elbow. That's better. So we're just going to gradually bring this side round. Again, we're using all shear cuts for this.
Len's in north central Massachusetts.
So the key thing is to enjoy. You don't need to hog it out really quick. Enjoy those cuts. Spend your time learning how to control that tool. And again, you stand and where you're finishing. It's going to be uncomfortable to start, but you want the final cut to be comfortable. So again, you're standing where you're going to finish. You're putting all your weight on your right side, on my case, and then you're going to gradually transfer that weight through to the left side.
Oh, bother. Wooddudes on.
Hi Stephen.
And JP Woodworks on as well.
Hi JP, how you doing? So we're now getting down where our tenon is. So I should really have this camera on, shouldn't I really? So you can see what I'm doing. Right, so we're now getting to where our tenon is. So we're now going to start just taking that in where our tenon is. Tenon don't want to need to be huge. Only want to be about 3 or 4 mil long. And then we're just gradually shaping that. We'll go back and finish the tenon up once we've shaped our bowl. So we're just going to gradually bring this round to create the shape of our bowl. So just
Roy said, can you show that with the overhead?
I am now. Alright,
Wait a minute, I've got some questions. Rob from Klingspor said, is there a preferred wood to learn with?
No, not really. If you've got 3 wood, is better. If you've got 3 woods, that's perfect for learning.
Sid said, Steve, I would call what you were doing there a pull cut, not a shear cut.
Well, yeah, people do call it a pull cut.
Norman Greenwell's on.
Hi, Norman, how you
Door
doing?
60.
Hi, Door.
So Benjamin said, Klingspor, wetwood. Most people recommend cheap pine, but I'd say that's one of the worst to start with, as it's hard to get a good finish on, although great for honing your skills.
Yeah. You'll find with softwood you get a lot of tear out. And you'll think that's you and not actually the wood.
Woodwork Learner said, Steve, that looks like a nice shape to hold chopped carrots.
Right, so just have a look at our shape. What we got. So nice continuous curve on the bowl. Making sure we've got no humps and bumps in it. Just got a little bit of it there. So what I'm doing when I'm shaping here, I'm actually looking over here to follow my line. It's much easier than trying to look here. So as I'm coming around here, I'm looking there to see where my shape is. And then I can see where there's any little high spots. So now I can feel that that's gone now. So what we need to do now is we just need to refine this tenon. So what I'm going to use for that is I'm going to use a small spindle gouge. So I'm just going to bring that in. Actually, yeah, bring that in on my line. And I'm just going to put a slight taper on that, not a lot. Just a little bit, just enough for something for my jaws to grab onto.
Roy's got a question. He said, what's the difference between a pull cut and a shear cut?
Well, different people call the same thing, Roy. You're sharing it.
Oh, the trolls are in again.
Oh, are they? Right, I'll ban them from the channel again. Block them from the channel. Oh, someone already has. Wait, JP. So a shear cut obviously is you're shearing it like that, which is what I was doing. But some people do call it a pull cut. So it's the same thing, Roy, just different what different people call it. Right, so when we're checking now, see if we've got any tear out. We've got a little bit of tear out on here where the loose grain is. And again there. Now we can do one or two things. We can either sand it out or we can get a small bowl gouge and just try and do a push cut all the way around to see if we can get rid of it. Excuse me, which is what I'm going to try and do. I'm just going to do a real light fine push cut with a small bowl gouge all the way around. See if we can get rid of the tear out. So now this is going to be a bit awkward because obviously we now got to reach over our lathe. Let's go on to
just a minute. Robert's asked what's with the carrot comments. It's because I normally sit here and prepare my veg.
Yeah.
Robert, whilst Steve's doing his live, but I've got no carrots today. I've just got to do some potatoes in a minute, but I am.
Right, so this is going to be a little bit awkward now because obviously we've got to reach over our lathe to start our cut and just gradually push it through. But again, we're going to stand where we're going to be finishing. So we're leaning over. Gradual cut. And we're just gently riding that bevel over our piece. No pressure. We're letting the tool do all the cutting.
Just 1 second, Steve. Brian, did you just report all them? Yeah, carry on, sorry.
So we're just riding that bevel over that piece. And we're just hoping now we're going to get rid of some of that tear out. So we'll stop it. Might have to do another one because I lost a little bit of pressure on the middle there. But it's definitely better. It's definitely got rid of some of the tear out. So we'll just do one more. So again, just a gentle.
Cheers, Brian. Thanks, JP. Royce put Nikki gets bored quick, so she cuts carrots.
So there we go. Now that's got rid of a lot of that. That's got rid of a lot of that tear out. So sometimes a push cut, if you couldn't get rid of it that way, and what you're doing is that way you're pushing the grain into the piece. If you come that way, you're sort of pushing it out. So if you go uphill, 9 times out of 10 it'll get rid of a lot of the tear out. But if you go downhill like that, you're actually pushing the grain out. So it could cause, but sometimes if you go that way and it makes it worse, going that way can make it better. So it's just a little bit of trial and error. Right, so now we're ready for a bit of sanding. So I'm going to sand that up quickly. It's not going to be the best job in the world, but we'll quickly sand it. So making sure we've got our extraction on. So I'm using the Simon Hope inertia sander.
Len said, are you using the top edge or bottom edge?
Of what?
I don't know. Terry's answered it, said bottom.
Push cut, you're always using the bottom edge of your gouge, if that's what you mean, Ben.
Mark Stroughton's on.
Hi, Mark, how you doing, bud?
Hope I pronounced his surname right, mate. Norman, Colin from Wood Wizardry wants to know if you'd like a coaster with your raffle prize. God, they're on that today. Don't know what it is about your website, mate.
I know, it's horrendous. Absolutely horrendous. There's some more there now.
Yeah, I've just got rid of them.
They're new ones, didn't they, them ones? Perhaps I should cut the channel down and start fresh. Or even just disappear. Right, so we're going to sand this up to 240 grit. Again, you don't need to push hard on the Hope sander. Let the sandpaper do all the work.
Wesley Hannah said his Hope sander arrived the last Tuesday from across the pond from Emma the Tiny Turner.
Good, good.
Brian put, yes, Steve, we're getting them, buddy. Woodwardry by Colin said, check your cookies, Steve.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I've checked everything. I've changed all the internet. I've checked all the security settings on my Norton. I've checked all the security settings on Bling. It's nothing to do with my computer. It's YouTube, unfortunately, because they're coming through YouTube, not the computer.
Woodwork Learner said, remember TJ Turner has a badge proving he knows his stuff.
Right, so that's 240. Right, so that's sanded up to 240. So what we're going to do now is get some sand and sealer on it. That's a bit thick, that is, really. Let's put some of this one on. Need to thin that down a bit.
If I nod off, you'll have to make sure. You hear a big bang, I fell off the chair.
Thanks,
I'm so tired, I don't know why.
Right, so sand and sealer, nice coat of sand and sealer. This will make the wood pop a little bit.
Pop.
Really thirsty, that is.
Do you want the sound effects or not?
I don't mind.
Drink your coffee.
I can't, I'm busy at the minute. Oh, for God's sake, Stephen. It's now all over the floor. Put some shavings on it, soak it up.
Well, he said, I've got a badge and I know nothing. I've got a badge, but it's got my age on it, so.
They're in a badge out, big love. Alright. So let that soak in. And we'll get the Yorkshire grit out ready. So it's nice and dry now. You can burnish it off with some shavings if you like, but actually we will do, just to dry it off a little bit. So just burnish it off a little bit. So now we're going to get some Yorkshire grit on it. Nice.
So Benjamin said, Steve, did you look into the keyword filtering? There does seem to be settings for it.
I will look into that. That's on YouTube, I take it, Ben? Yes? I will look into it, mate. Thank you very much.
Well, he said, Steve, you should do lives teaching Nikki to Woodturn. No thanks.
She's not interested, mate. Right, so going to work this Yorkshire grit in. Not applying too much pressure, just a nice gentle rub over. Spend 3 or 4 minutes working it in. This will cut up back to round about 1,000 grit if used correctly.
Oh, gentleman Woodturner's on.
Hi, Mark. So we'll gently work this in.
JP's also said, do you set your lives to how to and style because it defaults to entertainment for some reason? Ah.
They are set to entertainment, I believe. Should I change them, should I?
Yeah, because he said how to and style.
Okay.
Shall I write that down?
Yeah. I think they're set to, I think all my lives are set to entertainment.
Because it defaults, he said, to entertainment, so.
Oh, right, okay.
I have to have a look. So Colin Norman said yes, please, and Colin replied. He did reply, and I can't find it. Norman Greenwell, can you send him a picture of your logo? Oh, stinks.
Told you to have a shower. Alright, so just gently going to work this in. You can feel the abrasive paste breaking down, and you'll feel when it's all worked in because it's not as rough. So what we can do now is we can just gently speed up a little bit, just to get the last out of the paste.
So JP said, yeah, you're a how-to and style channel, mate. Yeah, we'll sort that out. Thank you, JP.
Thank you, mate. That's perhaps why I don't get the very good views, because I'm on the wrong one. You should have told me that 3 years ago, Joe, or 2 years ago, JP. Right, so we're gently going to work this off. And what we're doing now, we're taking out all the beeswax that's remaining on the piece. Now, you'll know when it's all off because the tissue will be nice and clean. And as you can see, there's a nice little sheen coming on there already. So you can see the beeswax is still coming off.
Christoph said, who said you weren't entertaining, Steve?
JP just did. Alright, so you can see the tissue's come off clean now. So that's all the beeswax off. So put the Yorkshire grit away. Put them in the bin. Feel awkward now walking around that camera all the time. So as you can see there, that has now got a little bit of a sheen to it. So what we need to do now is we need to put a finish over that, because Yorkshire grit is not a finish, it's an abrasive paste. So we need to put a finish over the top of that. So I'm going to,
on the tin.
As it says on the tin, correct. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of Hampshire Sheen high gloss wax over the top of that. Don't need a massive amount, just a smidgen on your tissue. Just going to rub that in. Spread it over nice and even. What you can do with the high gloss wax is you can gradually build up the shine by putting more coats over the top of it. So we'll put the first coat over it, and then we'll buff it, and then we'll gradually build up that. I don't want a major shine on it, but it'd be nice if we can get something semi-decent on it.
JP said, lol, I never said such a thing. Wood Grizzly by Colin said, apart from lacquer, what finish gives the best shine?
Ooh, there's loads of different ones out there, isn't there? You can use Rustin's plastic coat. Several coats of wax can build up a nice shine. It's loads and loads and loads. It's just playing with them, innit, really, just seeing what you want. How much, what do you call a shine? Personally, if I wanted a mega shine, then I would use lacquer. If I wanted a mirror finish. And the reason being is because I know how to get a good finish on that. Alright, so just gentle, no pressure at all, just letting the tissue run over this, just to buff this off. As you can see, we're starting to get a shine on it. It's not a perfect shine, but it's a shine nevertheless. So as you can see there, I keep looking at that screen up in front of me. So as you can see, a nice little shine on it. So that is the bottom of our bowl done. Nice and simple, not too painful. Get rid of that, and then I can turn this bowl. Right, so what we're going to do is now we're going to re-chuck it on this point here.
So when you've done that, does not the
yeah,
what are they called? The bits on the floor.
Shavings
Get stuck to any of the bowl on the outside?
Shouldn't do, because you've waxed it, haven't you? So
right.
That tenon's a little bit too big, really.
What if you coloured it? Because obviously colour takes a little bit of time to go off.
Yeah, no, it still shouldn't. The shaving still shouldn't stick to it. You might get a little bit of dust to it, but nothing that can't be wiped off. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take out the centre. So we're going to do some push cuts on the inside. So let's get rid of these two gouges.
Oh, they're on again.
Oh no, I'm going to write a complaint to.
Right, wait a minute.
To YouTube, I think.
Would if I could is on John C. And Amy said, what is the difference between normal polish and friction polish?
Friction polish. Normal polish comes in usually a wax or a stick, like these. This is Canuba wax. So they either come in a stick like that, very similar. So you can get microcrystalline in a wax like that as well. Or they come in a wax form like that, soft wax. friction polish is usually a liquid, and what friction polish is, it actually generates the shine through the friction between the cloth and the product. So you wipe it on, and then you at high speed use your cloth to rub it in and out, and that will cause the shine. The some of the disadvantages with friction polishes are you can get it, if you're not careful, it can go streaky. So if you really want to, if you want a real nice shine with friction polish, you need to do several coats. So you need to leave 15, 20 minutes in between coats, depending on the manufacturer of the friction polish.
Okay, so Roy's the boy said, I'm thinking of doing some wood turning videos in the future and wondering if I should start a new channel or use my channel as I have quite a few subscribers and change my logo.
Don't know, boy. That's a good question, that is.
Yes, Brian, put your link in for tomorrow.
Depends if you also, it depends if your existing followers want to see wood turning, doesn't it? You don't want to lose followers because they don't want to see what you're putting onto it. So if your followers want to see wood turning, then go for it. But ask them. Put a poll up on your channel and ask them.
Yeah, Robert, I think it's a continuation from Friday. You just said oak or ash on that piece of wood, it says.
That's what I said, oak or ash. Phone's ringing.
That's not a message.
Right, so we're going to do some push cuts on the inside of this. So what I'm going to do is ride the bevel and gently bring it in.
So Roy's saying though on his channel at the minute he does small engine repairs, how-to videos and other things.
Right, okay. Well, like I say, you need to ask his...
He's just said a lot of them want to see him turning, so...
Right, okay, that's
well,
fine. Right, so what we're doing is now we're going to present our tool to give us some push cuts. So we don't want to be going in like that because it's going to cause issues. And we want to be keeping these top wings away from the spinning piece of wood because that's going to cause us some catches. So what we're going to do is we're going to gradually bring that in and just gently push it until we get the shape we desire. Don't force the tool. Let the tool cutting edge do all the work. Now you can do some back cuts when you're doing bowl work, but as a novice, you're better off just concentrating on one style of cut at a time, because if not, it could end up getting problems.
Woodwork Learner said, Steve, are you sure you're not listed as an adult entertainment channel?
So again, we're standing where we want to be finishing. I'm not going to go any deeper in that at the moment because I want to try and get a fairly thin wall. I want to leave some of the meat in the middle. So we're just going to take some of this out now.
That's right, JP said the best thing about Roy's channel is being called Roy's the Boys, not pigeonholed to one craft.
Put a bit of speed in there, it's a little bit slow. That's better. We're gradually riding that bevel as we're coming around. Want to keep that bevel in full contact all the time.
Dr. Bob said he got a message from YouTube US yesterday regarding the problem, saying that they were fixing it. Presently, I've not seen any of the problems you're having there.
Ridiculous.
Hopefully, so who else is in their workshop today?
So what I'm doing now is where I point the bevel is where the gouge is going to go. Obviously, I want to keep a shape of the bowl, so I want to try and bring my gouge over a little bit further now, because we're coming in close to the edge. So I know we're leaning over the bed, but you can gradually bring that gouge around as you curve it into the bottom. As long as you keep that the bevel engaged, not the bevel engaged, yeah, the bevel engaged across the back. As long as you're rubbing the bevel there, you won't get any problems. If you come over here and try and just skip it, and you're not rubbing the gently just riding that bevel, then you're going to end up with problems.
Terry said, and don't forget to check the depth regularly.
Yeah. All right, Bray, keep on.
Got a special tool for that.
Yeah.
One and only limited edition.
So when I'm going in there, I'm looking at the back of the bowl to try and, so I'm trying to follow my shape of my bowl.
So you're busy, Scott. Scott's been in his workshop since 8:30. He's turned 6 crochet hook kits. He's got 3 more to go, and then he's on to snowmen.
Dedication. Right, so I'm just going to stop that and check my rough thickness on my wall. It's a bit dusty, this bit of wood.
Broughtwood went in his this morning, and he's going back in later.
Right,
You're
so
normally just always in and out, aren't you, mate?
Yeah, well, I had things to do this morning, so.
Yeah, like watch the highlights of the Grand Prix.
Exactly. So now I'm going to take this middle cone out. Now we've got our thickness. What the middle does is just stop the sides vibrating or flexing so much. But now I'm to that thickness I want. Actually, before I take the middle out, I'm just going to get a scraper. I don't normally use a scraper, but I'm going to use a scraper on this just to clean these sides up a little bit.
Terry said, nice bit of ash, Steve.
There's a bit of ash, is it, Terry?
Benjamin said, ash can be very dusty.
Yeah, it is dusty,
Wood
really
to cut
dusty.
if it's very dry.
It is very dusty. So I'm just going to put a little nick along the edge of this, because as you can see, I haven't actually finished the front of this off yet. So I'm just going to run the gouge across the top of that.
Susie said, I was in the workshop this morning, finished turning a 12-inch walnut bowl, then had big problems sanding it and finally gave up for the day.
Oh, you shouldn't give up, Susie.
Len said, does the scraper make it smoother?
No, the scraper normally gives you a bit of tear out. Because again, it's a scraping action, Len. So what I'm doing now is I'm just doing some back cuts. So we're using basically the same as a share cut, but we're just backing on ourselves, just backing this out. Now, as long as you don't hit this part of the wing here on this part of the bowl, you're fine. If you catch that in there, then you're going to get a nasty catch. So you need to make sure you keep that wing well away from that wall.
But Glenn said, still waiting for my workshop to be delivered, though, as I can hardly move. I still couldn't do anything, even if it was all set up. Brian's put his link in for his live tomorrow. He said slightly different start time for tomorrow. What time is it, Brian? Christoph said I was in the garage all day making a video camera. No, I was in the garage all day making a flock of sheep.
Hang on, use a video camera.
No, making a flock of sheep. I read the next comment. Dr. Bob said, I've been in my shop before the sun came up here in Detroit. I saw the glow on the horizon when I walked to the donut shop for my breakfast coffee and 2 cake donuts. Oh, JP's been doing some resin. Don't listen, Brian. Oh, resin casting this morning. I've made part of hands and pen blanks and blanks to make a hybrid gavel.
Nice. Right.
So Len said, if it makes it worse, why would you use a scraper?
Because I had a little lump in the side there, and I know that if I'd have gone with a gouge, the sides would have flexed. Look how thin the sides are; they would have flexed. With a scraper, it don't flex as much because you're not pushing onto them.
Brian's is at 7:45. You normally start at 8, didn't he?
Yeah.
Terry, have you done your link for tomorrow? If so, do you want to put that in?
All right, so we've got a little bit of a rise there, which I'm just going to use with the scraper.
Stop spreading your germs.
Which is gone now. God, that is so dusty. Put the extractor and leave it on, I think. Right, so we're going to sand that now.
Wood Dude said, I've been in the workshop since 11 AM and have completed 50 hand-carved rings for the Christmas fair, and now it's time for lunch. Norman Collins messaged you via Facebook.
Who, me?
No, Norman. Don't you worry, just keep going.
Right, so we're going to sand this now. When I power sand, don't let the edge of the sandpaper here come over on the edge here, because if I do that around it, so we want to finish it on there. And we're just nice, no pressure, letting the sanding pad do all the cutting.
JP said, nicely done, Steve. Very entertaining.
So what I'm doing with this first grip is getting ready any imperfections that I had. And I had a little bit in the middle there, which is gone. I'm just making sure that my wall is the same thickness and there's no ridges in it, which it's not. So we just give it another little run over the top.
Scott said, bet the neighbours are pleased I'm watching Steve now. I'm not sure they've appreciated my music choice. Well, me singing along to Celine and Whitney. At least good music choice, though. Oh, Barry said it stopped raining. We speak blue sky and sunshine. I'll have to go and have a look outside, I think. Right, here's the link for Terry's live tomorrow. I can't know what time it is.
1 o'clock.
At 1 o'clock. JP, but were they hoping your Celine voice went down with the Titanic, Scott? Lol. Oh, it's dry.
It's not dry. Stop raining.
Oh, you know, it stopped raining. Actually, you watch. We'll finish this and that'll start raining again. There's a Grand Bunny's knee cleaning out. Wivey said, at least it weren't Barbie girl, Scott.
Alright, so one more, 240, last one.
Again, while you're just doing that, I'm just going to say, people that have not been in very long, so far for the Dementia UK, we've raised £3,554. So big thanks to everyone who has donated, who bought raffle tickets, the people who supplied the auction pieces, people who supplied the raffle prizes. Just brilliant, brilliant. Thank you very much. Yeah, Baby Shark. Baby Shark. Doo, 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 doo. You don't know that one, do you, babe?
What, Baby Shark?
Yeah.
Everybody knows Baby Shark. Right, so that's sand up to 240 grit. That's better, I can see now. I'll turn the extractor on. I'll leave that running for a minute. Get rid of some of the dust in there. Camera's a bit low. You didn't tell me that was that low.
I ain't really looking at you. I'm looking at the chat. They're back again, babe.
Right, bit of sand and sealer.
Terry was on it. Scott put, Celine brings back emotion, brings back I think you may say memories of dumping my first girlfriend to think twice at the school disco. Our girls love all that, don't they? Celine, Whitney Houston, Michael Jackson, even Elvis. Steve's got one, Elvis Presley. They listen to all the recent stuff as well, but they do love the old songs as well.
You can't beat a bit of the King. Right, so just going to denib that with some shavings.
Okay, Barry, thank you. I'm going to drop off that prize.
Oh, thank you, Barry.
Chris said that was a good height for the camera for Terry. JP said, do you thin your sanding sealer or do you buy the HS pre-thinned stuff?
I actually use both, JP. I do thin my Hampshire chestnut one, 60-40. 60% sand and sealer, 40% cellulose thinners, because I think it's too thick, personally. So, yes, I do thin it.
But you also buy the Hampshire sheen thin?
I also do buy the Hampshire sheen, yeah. So I use the Hampshire sheen one if I'm doing a lot of colouring. Right, so we'll let that dry a little bit, and then we'll get the Yorkshire grit out.
Have a drink, stop coughing.
Where did I have my drink? It's in there.
Give it to you. Oh, you drink your coffee?
Yeah, I think so. Oh no. Very good, Scott. Very good indeed.
Mm-hmm.
Right, Yorkshire grit.
Steve, has your business picked up since COVID hit? Bob asked.
Yes, we are. Well, we have been really busy. Just worrying now what's going to happen in the next 12 months with what's going on in the UK. Obviously, with the things of prices going up, and there's been a massive increase in material costs. Materials where let's say, for instance, a sheet of OBS. Yeah, OBS roofing board before COVID was around about £20 a sheet. It's now nearly £50 a sheet. So costs have gone through the roof. Bricks are more expensive. Plasterboard, plaster, sand, cement, everything's just gone through the roof. So obviously costs have gone up. And now with what's been going on in the UK, looks like we might be heading towards a recession. And the trouble is with a recession is the building trade is usually the first to be hit. But the good news is it's always the first to recover. So it's just a waiting game, really, see what's going to happen. Hopefully, though, we can ride it out.
Doug Miller would spin around, said, sorry, I've got to go. We'll catch up later. Bye all.
See you later, Doug. Thanks for coming over. So we're just going to do exactly the same as we did with the bottom of this. Just gently work this in. Applying no pressure. Let the paste do all the work.
Did I tell you Doug Miller's got to go?
Yeah, you just said that.
Woodturner said sheet of 11mm OBS is £25.
Yeah. Used to pay £1 a millimetre, but now it's over double that. Timber's just gone through the roof on everything. All right. So I can now feel that the abrasive paste is breaking down. So now what we can do is just gently speed it up a little tiny bit.
So Rob from Klingsville said, have to head out, Nikki, Steve. When you have the contact details of the raffle, let me have them and I will get the rolls shipped out. Yeah, yep. Steve's going to do that this afternoon.
That's on my list to do this afternoon, Rob. Alright, so what we're doing now is we're gradually working off so we get a nice clean piece of tissue. I think we're around about there.
Well, he said same as garden fence, and last year it cost me £600 for materials for the same stuff from the same company's £1,400.
Oh no, it's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
Benjamin said the problem is that unless there's much competition, the prices probably won't come down either.
No. Well, the company who we got all our timber from, they bought so much stock before COVID, and they've been selling at a high price with the announcement of what's been going on in the market. They can't get rid of it now because their sales have dropped, so they're now worrying they're going to be stuck with all this stock. And they're going to, if the recession hits, they'll have to sell cheap, because if not, they won't sell it. So they've got two choices, didn't they? Either make a little bit of a loss on it, or go bust. Right. So let's get a bit of wax on there. So again, Hampshire Sheen High Gloss Wax.
Woodward said, looks like I picked the wrong time to get a new shed, but needs must.
Work that in. Again, we're going to give it a couple of coats. So that's the first one. Just go around the edge here because I took a little bit of a Yorkshire grit around the edge of this. Just go around the edge of that. So that'll be our final coat of wax. Just going to gently buff that off.
You said a lovely bit of wood, Steve. Great, lovely bit of wood. Great turn, Steve.
Thank you very much, Amy. So that should be. That's a pretty bit of wood, that is. Absolutely lovely bit of wood. So there we go. So we've just got to remove the tenon off the back of it now. So what we need to do is to get it into our cold jaws and guarantee that the cold jaws are going to be set to the wrong size, because they always are. But we will see.
Oh, Broadwood said, with these costs going up, I'm glad I'm retired. Another great demo, Steve.
Thank you. Oh, I don't know. Will it be our lucky day? Won't it be our lucky day? I hate this blooming SC3. Chucky. No, it's not our lucky day. So just talk amongst yourselves while I change these 600 screws. Do I need one or do I need two? Let's go two. Chuck you out. So obviously a Longworth chuck. Is it Longworth? Longworth chuck? I think that's what they call it. Would have been is a good idea, because you don't have all this with a Longworth chuck. You don't have to change all these screws. That just moves in and out as and where you want it. But like anything, there's pros and cons for all of them.
Chris Dodd said that is the Irish guy's fault, Steve Murphy.
Say things like that. That's racist. I've never picked this these cold jaws up and they've been the right size. Every time you have to change them.
What to get you for Christmas now?
What? Another set of cold jaws with the right size.
The right ones. Brian's put on the vacuum chuck for you this Christmas.
No, I don't want vacuum. Too expensive. How often I use one.
Benjamin said, I use 4 rubber pads these days, not had issues. I also just tighten them by hand much quicker.
I never used to really use this, to be honest, because it was on the top of the shelf and a pain to get to. So I never really used it a lot until I moved the lathe over here and done the mount on the end of the lathe, so it was easy to get to. But definitely is a better idea than doing mortises all the time. I need to get away from doing mortises, as I do them nearly all the time. People moan at me, so I really ought to start doing more tenons. Look a bit more well, the piece does look better. I do agree with the piece does look more professional, because if you can't see a mounting point. But 9 times out of 10, the pieces I turn sit on a shelf until I give them away, and then I can always, with a mortise, I can always just put them back on the lathe and refinish them. But no, I totally agree that they do look better.
Brian with the wise said, one of the benefits of retirement, Steve, nothing takes too long.
Right, so let's get that in there. I've gone too far now. I'm going to cry.
Is there definitely not a simpler way?
No, not really. I bet I've gone too far. I think I should have just gone one. Don't do it to me. Don't do it. Do it. Blinking hell. I'm going to actually write on these how big a bowl they do, so I know. You'd think
G
they'd.
said use impact driver on a low torque a bit faster.
Yeah, it is. But by the time I find the Allen key bit and everything else, it's easy just to do it with this.
Crystal said you need 12 cold jaws, Steve.
Yeah. It'd be good if they writ on these what size bowls they did. That would be a much better idea. Which I'm going to do. I'm going to actually write on there what size jaws, what size bowls they do. From
back again.
2. And then I'll know exactly where I've got to put them then, rather than guessing.
Woodwork Learner said need a spare chuck to use cold jaws, else it's a pain to keep swapping the jaws.
Oh, I've got the chuck. That's not a problem with the chuck. I've got a spare chuck.
Colin said, will you be making cold jaw holders in the buddy range?
No. No,
Len
because
said 2 steps back, 1 step forward.
yeah. Well,
Chris
2 screws back, 2 screws back, 1 screw forward.
Chris Dodd said, see Murphy's Law. Boy's a boy. I took a tenon off for the first time last week using cold jaws for the first time.
They are good. They do the job. They do what they say on the tin.
Roy said, Steve, get a magnetic strip bar to keep some bits to hand. Bob said, engrave it on the jaws, then rub in some coloured wax.
I'm going to do that, Bob. I'm going to write on the jaws what they are. I've got some metal punches on. Actually, write the sizes on them, so I know what they go from to. Save a lot of issues, won't it? What else would you be doing?
I've got plenty to be doing.
Shut up, you. What more could you want spending time with your husband?
Well,
washing up,
I've got to clean the bathroom. I've got to hoover upstairs.
Oops.
See if I can find out what the smell is in the oldest bedroom.
Right.
So Woodwork Learner said, I bought some cold jaws, but need to take them back to get bigger ones. Mistake to get too small.
Tight. What's the movement in the actual chuck?
Chris Dodd said, Steve, imperial or metric?
What, cold jaws? Depends what you want, mate. Which one do you want? Alright, let's try again.
Is it bedtime yet?
Stop lemon moaning.
Take these potatoes in, really, because they're going funny colour.
Right, we're there. We're there. We're there. Thank God for that. So not too tight, because if you do, you crack your bowl.
No one wants a crack in their bottom.
No, nobody wants a crack in their bottom. So we're going to use a spindle gouge for this, just to gently move this. We'll move our tool rest up a little bit. So we don't want to run this too fast. It does actually say, oh, you can't, don't know if you can see it now because the bowl's in. But it actually does say on the
Brian's
jaws.
Got to go. He's got a visitor.
See you later, Brian. Soon. See you later, mate. It actually does.
Drum roll. That was obviously when you was putting that on there.
The actual speed, there is a maximum speed you should be running. It shouldn't be run very fast. So we're just gently taking off this tenon. So to make it a little bit more secure, you want to be pushing into the jaws. You can go that way, but you've got a chance that it may pop out if your wall on your bowl is quite thin. So it's safer to take most of it off this way and then just do a real nice light push cut across afterwards.
Mr. G's in the workshop turning snowmen.
Nice.
Roy said, I used a spindle gouge the other day, Steve, to take the tenon off.
Yeah, that's what I'm using. So just remember, the closer you get to the middle, the slower it goes. So, right, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to drop my tools at rest a little bit, and then we're just going to turn this bit just a little tiny bit. We're just going to do some nice soft push cuts. So we'll just check that. So I've just got a little bit of a shoulder on there. I just want to take off. We'll just take that back a little tiny bit. Right, so we are near there. So I'm just going to put a little bit of a curve in the middle, not a lot, just a little bit. Just so it actually sits on the edge of the rim and not in the middle. Like that. So now we can sand that. Sand that from 120 to 240. So 120, 180, 240. Now you can put a little bit of decoration in there if you want, or some lines, or whatever you want to do, really, just to give it a little bit of character. I'm just going to leave it natural. So there you go. So what we need to do now, don't need that, do we? We need to just put a little bit of sand and sealer on that, just to seal it. Because obviously that's bare wood.
Oh, I better go back to the chair.
So just a little bit of sand and sealer.
Right, Amy said, thanks for the info, Steve, and everyone. Off to sleep now. Take care, love to all.
See you later, Amy.
Night,
Thanks for coming over. Have a good night.
Wood Wizard by Colin said, do you prefer mortise or tenon on bowls?
I've been using a lot of mortises. And I really should start doing tenons more. I'm actually going to start doing tenons more because obviously it is really about the presentation look. And if you can pick up a bowl and not see the mounting point, then it does look nice on the bottom of a bowl. Totally agree with that. 9 times out of 10, the reason I do a mortise is because it's just so convenient. But I need to really think about selling more of my work rather than just having it sat here. So right, so let's just buff this up.
Woodwork Learner said, why a spindle gouge and not a bowl gouge?
You can use a bowl gouge if you want, but I always use a spindle gouge. It's not so aggressive as a bowl gouge.
Dr. Bob said, I found that using lock washers on the bolts helps stop all possible vibration when I use mine on dry wood.
Good point. Right, so that's all the turned off, nice and smooth now. So we'll get this out of the chuck. Give it a wipe over. So we'll give us a wipe over. Just wipe all the manky fingerprints off of it. It's about the same thickness all the way through. So there we go. Nice simple little bowl with some simple, easy stages on how to turn it. So awesome. Right, let's get this off. Move that back over there. Turn these off. Come back over on this camera. This actually shows you wrong camera, doofus. This camera I want. So there we go. Nice simple little bowl.
By a simple little person.
By a simple little person. We started off with 220. See how big we've got it left. 210. 10 mil I took off of that. Excellent. And it's started off at 50 or just over 50 mil. It's now 46. So we took a little bit off of it. So
we've got Woodwork Learn, a nice little bowl. Steve Lynn says, well done, lots of great information, Steve. Colony's had very good demos, Steve. Will help a lot of new turners. Graham Brown said, nice, Steve, good demo. Wood Ridgely by Colin said, fantastic tuition, Steve. You should do lessons. TJ said, nice one, Steve. You are thinking of doing lessons, aren't you?
I am. I have done a couple. So I've got another couple booked in for later on in the year. I enjoy it. I enjoy sharing knowledge with other people. And like we always say, there's always someone who knows less than what we do. And if we can share that knowledge, it helps everybody.
There's also people that know more than what you do.
Exactly. And they need to share with
for them to come on and share theirs.
And they need to share with me so I can learn more.
So you can tell everyone else.
So if you know more than me and you'd like to come to my workshop and give me a lesson, please give me a call.
So Dr. Bob said, a safety tip, paint the edges of your segments red. Chris Dodd said, nice bowl and very informative and entertaining. Woodwork Learner said, how much should a bowl like that be sold for?
I don't know, Andy. But this is a big discussion we've had within the community for a long while now. You know, to me personally, if someone came and said, I'll give you 30 grand for that bowl, I'd sell it. The reason being is because the way I look at it, it's more blanks and more stuff for the channel. But people who are selling their pieces would say, "Oh, I want £60 for it or £70 for it." So and again, it depends on the name. You know what I mean? If I turn a bowl like that, it's perhaps worth 30 quid. Someone like, let's say, Pat Carroll turns a bowl like that, it's perhaps worth 130. Sometimes it's the name that's attached to it as well as the piece.
So Susie says, very helpful demo. William Kenny looks great, Steve. Roy's the boy, great info, Steve. Mr. G's Woodturning, very nice, well done. Gavin Doherty, welcome. He said, just out of interest, why no face shield or mask respirator?
Right, Gavin, I don't use a face shield because when I'm doing live demos, if I'm in the workshop on my own, I use a face shield. But when I'm doing live demos, I've got glasses on, and because I'm using the mic, and when you got the ventilated mask going, you can hear it through the mic, and it sounds like you're in a cave. But we always make sure we wear safety glasses. I always wear safety boots in the workshop as well, and I've got extraction going. So.
Leroy 500, thank you, Steve. Roy's the boy said, when is your next demo?
My next demo's...
Let me just finish this first. Gavin Doherty said, super job, Steve. Brian said, I'm back, made another sale. Well done, Brian.
Well done, mate.
Colin said, if you were closest, Steve, I'd come for a lesson.
Oh.
Roy said, I'll be around in 40 minutes, Steve. Chris Dodd said, change your name, Steve.
Yeah.
Woodwork Learner said, I've vastly undercharged for my work. Benjamin said, so you're saying we should change our names to Pat Carroll? Terry said, oh, Roy, that's good. Then I can teach you both at the same time. Lol. Roy said, Steve, what do you think my walnut bowl is worth? And Brian said, good idea, Ben. Right, so answer Roy's question. Your next demo is?
My next demo is the 3rd of November at Ely Woodturner. No, Cambridge Woodturners.
I thought you told me Ely.
No, Cambridge.
Oh, just bear with me a sec, guys.
So your walnut bowl, Roy, it depends what you want to sell it for, mate. Really, it's It's a personal thing. Personally, if it's walnut, I don't know how big it is. I can't remember how big it is. But if it's around about that size, being walnut, I wouldn't sell it for no more than 40, 45 quid minimum. But it depends on what you want to sell it for.
Woodridge by Colin said, I rarely sell bowls, sold more pens and tea light holders. Roy's the boy said, "Lol, yes, Terry, yes, please." And Laurie, enjoyed the demo, thanks. Thank you for coming.
Welcome. Thank you very much for coming over and watching. So, yeah.
Benjamin, when did you sell? What did you sell, Brian? Can you afford that new special thing yet? Something for $12.99 probably. Roy said you pick him up.
What, for Cambridge? You came last time, I think. Last time we did Cambridge, I think you came. Right, so yeah, so what was we talking about? I can't remember what we was talking about now. That's it, isn't it?
Yep. Do you just say about the GoFund for the last time?
9.5 inches, right? So I'd go about 55, 60 then, Roy, if it's 9.5 inches. GoFundMe. Last figure was £3,500 and something pounds, I believe.
54.
£54. So a massive thank you to everybody who's contributed in to help and raise that sort of money. I will be letting the Dementia UK know tomorrow what we've raised and how we've got on. Obviously, the GoFundMe will be live until the end of the year because we've still got stuff to put into it for the t-shirts and all that. But hopefully, good chunk. It's a very, to be honest, there's a lot more than I expected. I always set the goal low just in case. I know times are hard. I know people are finding financial stuff difficult. So I never expect anybody to, well, I wouldn't expect anybody to buy something, even if it's a raffle ticket that's going to put them into financial trouble. So I do appreciate
But
everybody.
every little has helped. Whether we've donated
Oh, of course,
£2
yeah.
or £200, it's there, isn't it?
Exactly, yeah. Everybody has done their piece, and I mean there are people who have just bought 2 free raffle tickets. Which at the end of the day, if somebody buys one raffle ticket, I am grateful because that's £2 you've contributed towards Dementia UK. And as we know, that Dementia UK are actually not looking for a cure for dementia. They actually support the families of the loved ones, who are going through dementia. So.
Brian's on it.
So yeah, we hopefully with £3,500, that's going to make a massive difference. And I will be getting the representative. I had a lovely young lady, Rachel. She was looking after us to start with, but she's been moved on now. And there's somebody called Maya, I think it is. So she's going to be actually. I've actually asked her already if she could do a short video just to say what it's going to be used for. So you guys know really, because I want you guys to know, you guys who have contributed and helped raise the money. I want you guys to know what the money's going to go towards. So that will be out in a few weeks, hopefully.
Terry's got to go.
See you later, Terry. Yeah, so all good.
So this is Terry's link for his live tomorrow at 1 o'clock. And if Brian, you want to put yours in again, Brian's on at 7:45 tomorrow, so don't miss him.
7:45. New time.
Yeah. Why is he on a new time?
Don't know.
Is the broadband better at that time?
I don't know why he started a new time. Perhaps he wants to be important and start before 8 o'clock. Right, so I think last Friday of the month next week? Yeah, so I believe us Battle of the Makers next Friday. So we need to do some questions, love, because we ain't even started them yet. With so much going on with the Makers auction, we've just been absolutely inundated with that. So we need to do some questions.
Next week, ain't we, mate? So
we are. So it's going to be a week
chilling.
of. Well, I wouldn't say chilling.
You are getting some jobs done and
chilling, getting some jobs done. So anyway, right. So a massive thank you to everybody who's come over and joined us. Hope you've appreciated, or not appreciate. Hope you've enjoyed it. Hope somebody's learned something. If there's any questions, then please do not hesitate to contact me. Like I said before, no question is a stupid question. We're here to help each other. Let's learn off each other. Let's all increase our knowledge and share between us, and all become better turners out of it. So there's plenty of knowledge in the community, and everybody in the community is always willing to share their knowledge with other people. So don't hesitate to ask. So with that, we're going to go. Thank you very much. Brian said I might be late, as always. So we will be back Friday night with Battle of the Makers. Brian's on tomorrow night at 7:15. That's 7:45.
No,
Quarter to 8. That's 7:45. And then Temporary Turn and Terry is on Monday at 1 o'clock. So make sure you check those guys out and see what they come up with. So anyway, guys, thank you very much. Have an absolutely amazing week, and I will see you, if not before, Friday. So take care. Speak to you soon, and bye for now. Say bye, Nick.
Bye, Nick.
See you later, guys. Bye.
Bye. Have a good week.
That's all, folks.